Hey guys, let's talk about my favorite way to encourage positive behavior in the classroom, aka the WOA board. If you've been following me for a while, you know this is my favorite classroom management strategy that I've been using all year. For anyone new here, I'm going to explain how it works real quick, and then I'm going to tell you how I'm using it differently in 2025. Okay, so you start by getting an anchor chart just like this, and then you're going to start drawing a grid. Then you're going to label one side with numbers and one side with letters, kind of like an X and Y axis, like I'm doing right here. Then you're going to explain to your students that you want to be able to say, whoa, I have some amazing students in this class. And whenever you see a student following rules and expectations in your classroom or whatever positive behavior that you're looking for, you get to tell that student to put their name on the WOA board. Let the student come up and write their name in any square on the WOA board. Students usually get super excited when they get to put their name on the WOA board, and the class cheers for them and they're all super supportive. Then once the board gets full of student names, or just whenever you feel like it, I usually just do it on Wednesdays and call it WOA Wednesdays. I plug in the coordinates to an online spinner, so for example like A1, B2, and then you'll spin it, and whichever student's name it lands on, they will win a prize. I'm going to insert a little video right here for an example of me doing WOA Wednesday. I have a prize box and like a snack drawer and things like that, but I also have prizes that the students can choose from that don't cost money, like lunch with Miss Ward, teacher chair for the day, things like that. In January this year, I'm using my WOA board to encourage more reading for when they make a 100 on their book quiz, so I'm excited about that. And here are some completed WOA boards because I got some questions on what they look like when they're done.
If you're a teacher and you have not heard of interrupting chickens, you need to watch this video. So with my kindergartners, I always have this up. Each of these boxes is where you put a chicken if while you're reading a story, there's a student that's interrupting in any way, whether it's calling out, getting up, touching somebody else, doing something that they should not be doing, they get a chicken. If they fill up each of these boxes with a chicken, they automatically lose a cookie in our cookie jar that we use for our classroom management. So right now they're working for a coloring party. Once they get to 10 cookies, we'll earn it. But if they get all these chickens, a cookie comes out of the jar. This thing works like a charm. The students all stop talking. Once they get to like 2 or 3, it is silent. They are amazing. You need to get it. And there's also a show on Apple TV called Interrupting Chickens that we watch during snack time.
I use this behavior management technique called teachers versus students. When students are doing what they're supposed to be doing and showing the expected behavior, they earn a point. When the students are not showing the appropriate behavior, then the teacher or teachers get a point. On Fridays, we count up the tallies, and if the students have more points, then they earn 30 minutes of choice time. If the teachers have more points, then we just continue class as usual. I keep it on my board for all the students to see, and I have magnets attached to it, so it's easy to move around if I need to. This helps for our short-term goal every Friday. But then on Fridays, I add up their points, and I add it to our bank, and then once they reach their big goal, then they get a class party or extra recess or whatever they decided they want. Just one more thing I want to add. If you're going to start the teachers versus students in your classroom and it's something new you're doing, make sure in the beginning, like the first 2-3 weeks, that the students always win. If they start losing right away, you're not going to get that buy-in and they're not going to really feel motivated.
Alright y'all, let's talk through some of my quick and easy first grade classroom management hacks that will definitely work in your classroom. So this may be a little bit of an unpopular opinion, but I do not use clip charts in my classroom. In college, they just preach to you that that is just not something you should do. You don't want to really put the kids' names up anywhere and cause shame and humiliation. There are other ways to get them to participate and do the things you want them to do. So with that being said, I have 2 things that I use for classroom management. I do a whole group classroom management strategy and an individual classroom management strategy. This is from a TPT seller. I'm not sure who she is, but I will link her below. So this is just the oh yeah and oh oops. We do oh yeah, we are making good choices, and oh oops, we can make a better choice. So collectively as a class, when they are all making a great choice, doing something that I've asked them to do, we'll get a tally mark. If they are doing something as a class that they should not be doing, they will get an oh oops. And whichever one has more tally marks at the end of the day depends on whether or not they get a cookie. So if they have more oh yeahs, they will get a cookie. If they have more oh oops, they do not get a cookie. And we have actually worked together as a class to pick a reward for when their cookie jar is full. And the next classroom management strategy that I use is bucket fillers. Now I have this little pink bucket that is full of these bucket fillers, and they are just laminated sheets of paper that say, "Great job being a bucket filler." Now I read this story, "How Full is Your Bucket?" for kids to my class this year. So this story basically talks about filling up each other's buckets and then what it's like when your bucket is empty. You can't really fill up each other's buckets. So basically it talks about being kind and doing things to be helpful around the classroom or in your home with others. And then I basically tell them if I catch them doing something good, or if one of their friends catches them doing something good and says, "Miss Keene, they really deserve a bucket filler," I'll give them a bucket filler. And then when they have 10 bucket fillers, they get to get something out of our little purple treasure box that has all kinds of fun goodies inside. So those are my 2 whole group and individual classroom management strategies that I use. So something else that I really love to do is Heggerty Heroes. So this is just an acrylic frame that I put this picture in. I'm going to write the student's name who did the best in Heggerty that day on this board. It will stay there all day. And then I have not cut these out yet, but they will get a Heggerty Hero certificate with their name on it. And then I also give smelly spots to those students who get Heggerty Hero that day. And my final classroom management strategy for the beginning of the year is this routines and procedures bingo board. There's another teacher influencer on here who created this and printed it out on her school laminator, and I just loved it. So I created my own, and basically what they do is whenever they master one of these skills, we will cover up a bingo piece, and when they have 5 in a row, we will get a reward for that. So far, my students have mastered entering the classroom, going to the restroom, lining up. That's our free space. They have mastered using our hand signals, which is another quick and easy classroom management strategy that you can use. And then our oh yeah and oh oops, figuring out how that works. And so anyway, those are all of the quick and easy classroom management strategies that you can use in your first grade classroom.
Can't get your class to stop blurting all day? Here's a tip. Build a Jenga tower every morning and pull a block every time someone blurts. If the tower's still standing at the end of the day, I give all of the students 5 bonus points, and those go toward dollars that they can spend in our class store at the end of the week. But if the tower does fall, I win and I get a trophy on my desk, our class unicorn Yuri, and the students hate it because they want to win Yuri to sit on their desk, and if I have her, they can't.
I get tired of teaching my routines and procedures the same way over and over and over again, and the kids kind of do too, so I came up with a new way using rubber duckies. I listed out all of the routines and procedures that I wanted my students to know, and I color-coded them to match these labels I just got on Amazon. And then on the bottom of each rubber duck is a color dot that corresponds to one of the routines or procedures. So you have your student come pick one of the rubber ducks. Again, I just got these on Amazon too. I can link to the exact ones if you guys want me to, just let me know. But then they look, oh, this one's pink, so they're gonna come over here and they will explain to the class, or they will model, or both, this routine or procedure. And you can do it as many times as you want. You can do it with as many routines and procedures as you want. It's just kind of a unique way where it's like, oh, this is a carnival game and I get to learn my routines and procedures. This is also nice to use after breaks or when they've had a long weekend, or it's April and you're like, really guys, you can't remember how we do these things? You can pull out the rubber ducks and just have them match it to your routines and procedures. If you want the cards, the ones like this that are completely editable, so you can really change anything you want or add your own routines and procedures, I will link to them. But yeah, just something fresh and new to teach our kids what they need to know.
It's about that time of year to go over classroom expectations again. So why not make it a little bit fun, put a twist on it, and play Jenga Classroom Procedures Review. Your students can play in small groups, you could play as a whole entire class, but this game has a whole bunch of different questions. Each color is a different category, and then students will answer the questions to remind themselves of these procedures.
If you're looking for a cool and interesting way to reinforce your classroom routines, try using playing cards. After I taught the rules and routines to my students in my first week of classes, I played a game with them that's very similar to the game of Mafia. Except because I can't make references to gangs, I instead called it Mystery Student. You get the idea. I rounded out a bunch of number cards and then I left one joker in. student who gets the joker is in some subtle way supposed to perform the class expectation incorrectly. And the whole point of the game is for the students to watch whoever's doing the class routine, the procedure, or whatever, do it correctly themselves if they don't have the joker, and then guess the student who is doing it incorrectly. This forces them not only to review the important class expectations, but also to pay attention to their surroundings. Sometimes it's as important to help our classmates as it is to help themselves. The cool thing about this activity is that you can do it at the beginning of the year, but you could also do it at the end in case your kids need a fun break.
Teachers, at the beginning of the school year, I know you teach routines and procedures, and you want a fun way to practice those routines and procedures. I have the perfect solution for you, an Escape the Room routines and procedures. So it's 4 activities that ask students to demonstrate their knowledge of routines and procedures. So challenge 1 is a crossword where they have to match the definition of the routine and procedure with the crossword puzzle. Challenge 2 is my favorite because you print out pink, blue, orange, yellow, green little slips of paper, right? And then you tape them next to these things in your classroom, like the library, turn-in basket, whatever. And then kids go on a scavenger hunt and color in the heart, the color of the box. Challenge 3 is the scoot, and if you don't know what a scoot is, it's basically where you hang task cards around your classroom and kids scoot to each one. This one's designed to go in any order, so you can have kids at multiple different questions at the same time, and they read an IAM, the procedure where you sharpen the writing utensil you need, and then they have to figure out which option it is. Obviously that's pencils, and then they put it in the recording sheet and it spells a message. And then challenge number 4, like increasing difficulty, is hypothetical situations, and then which procedure did the student need to learn better to avoid the hypothetical situation. So like Johnny ran around screaming during a fire drill, which procedure did he need to learn better? Emergencies. And I love this because it's fun for students, but it really quizzes their knowledge on if they know the routines and procedures that you put in place that first week of school. And I know I sound like a broken record, like routines, procedures, but I swear that's like the secret sauce to running an effective like classroom management. Classroom, like if behaviors are rising, like it's because your routines and procedures need to be like a little tighter. And I totally think you can make this yourself and like make it unique to what you want to do. But if you didn't want to make it and you want to support me, I have it at Oh Happy Day Teaching on Teachers Pay Teachers. And I just want to say thank you so much to all the support and love on my page. I'm just so grateful.
Let's make teaching procedures, routines, and expectations a little bit more fun. After you've taught students the routines and expectations that you have for them for the year, practice them by playing charades. You can have students play in small groups, you can play as a whole class, or you could be the person guessing the routine that they're acting out, but your students are guaranteed to have a blast with this.
I have another back to school activity for you guys, and it's a classroom scavenger hunt to review the procedures. I like to do this on about day 3 after we've learned most of the procedures, just to make sure that the kids really understand them. And if you stay to the end, you can get it for free. I like to keep my clues very simple just because I don't want to take away from the whole point of the activity, which is to review procedures. So it just goes in order, taking them around the classroom about different things that they've learned the past few days. I start by showing them this welcome letter, and I usually have someone in my building run it into my classroom just for dramatic effect and say that we have a special mission we're going on. This is totally optional, but I like to roll the clues up and then put twine around it just to make it a little more official, but you don't have to do that. And then I'm left with a pile of clues like this, and I'll show you some examples of where I put them. So I have a procedure for pencils in my classroom, so that's where I put one of them and we review that. We talk about the turn-in bin, so that's where I put one of the clues. I also put one at my hand signal. That's one of my favorite procedures. We talk about how they pick up their mail at the end of the day, so I put one there. I also put one at my Student of the Month chair because I have rules about that they're supposed to follow. We also review the lost and found. If you have a treasure chest, that would be super cute to put at the end, but I don't even have that, so I just print out this note and tell them that their treasure is that they get to have an extra recess. I love free rewards. If you'd like to do this activity with your kids, then go to my brand new teacher Instagram account and make sure you're following me, and then send me an emoji of a pirate ship flag. If you do that, it will then send you a link to make a copy of the document, and then you can have your very own in your Google Drive. My Instagram handle is in my bio. I'm excited to start posting over there as well, but I hope that this works out for you and that your kids love it.
Holy cow, if my kids are that loud in the hall again, I'm gonna lose my job.
Oh, I totally get how frustrating that is. Have you tried Game On?
No, what's that? It's so easy and it works like a charm. So what you do is when you get your students lined up, just say the words game on, and then you show them a piece of paper like this. It's team 1 versus team 2, or you could do girls versus boys. Okay. So whenever one team talks, the other team gets a point. And then whoever has the most points at the end of the day or at the end of the morning gets to line up first for recess or lunch or home time. Holy cow, that's so simple. I love it. I can't wait to try it. Where did you even learn that? I just follow Beginning Teacher Talk.
We're talking about routines and procedures. Real quick, can we define what a routine is? Something that you do every day. For our sake, we're going to define routine as a sequence of actions that you follow regularly, okay? What is a procedure? It doesn't happen all the time, but when it does happen, it doesn't happen all the time, but when it does happen, it goes the same way every time. For us, we're going to say a series of actions conducted in a certain order or manner. Walk me through the procedure for crossing the street.
The procedure for crossing the street would be to okay, so you stand at the sidewalk and you look left, then you look right, then you look left again, and you look right again, and if there's no cars coming, then you can go.
I like that. There's going to be nuances with this, but tell me, what is the procedure for brushing your teeth?
Rinse off your toothbrush with hot water, because if it's not hot, it's not clean. And then you put your toothbrush in there. You put your toothpaste on a toothbrush, and then you rinse it again to get the toothpaste wet, and then you brush your teeth. And that's it.
Simple. How long do you brush your teeth?
5 minutes.
5?
Yeah.
All
If it's not 5, y'all ain't doing it right.
I thought routines are a part of our daily lives. Some of us have makeup routines. Does anybody have a skincare routine? Yes. Right? Exactly. I see a lot of hands up. This is optional. I would appreciate it if I got some help. But all right, y'all sit down. All of those songs have something in common. They all tell you what to do. And you followed those instructions. Who was up there not following the instructions? I wasn't. And what was that making everybody else do? Look bad. And that's how we look when you're not following Mr. Moore's routines and procedures. You have the instructions, but because somebody isn't doing the right thing, it could throw the whole class off. Because somebody isn't doing the right thing, everybody bumping into other people. We are disrupting the flow of the class. It tells you what to do. To the right, to the right, to the left, hop, wobble, whatever it is. It gives you the instructions. Mr. Moore gives you the instructions, and some of us still fail. I give you the procedure, I give you the routine, and we come in here and refuse to do it.